of South Africa Conference for the year 2024 in the beautiful province of KwaZulu-Natal and in the very breezy city called Durban. Today, we are speaking all things financial aid within the context of the sector of higher education and training. And also, of course, taking into consideration the theme for today or for the next 3 days of this conference, which is building a united or a unified future through collaboration and partnership. Hashtag FAPSA. But right now, I'm sitting down with a member or a manager from the National Research Foundation. And she's going to be talking to us a little bit more about what is the National Research Foundation and its impact or role or contribution within the financial aid sector of education and training. I hope I've elaborated that clearly for you. And her name is Tashini Pillay, or should I say Mrs. Tashini Pillay. Ladies and gents, let's welcome her. Ms. Tashini, how are you today?
Good, thank you so much. Thank you for having us. Yeah.
I am so grateful and thankful that finally I get to talk to someone from the National Research Foundation, someone who's going to give us an idea of what is the actual foundation about. What does the National Research Foundation consist of? What is its form? What is the training sector?
So, yes, thank you for allowing and giving us the opportunity to just showcase the National Research Foundation.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, we are an agency of government and we are a government agency that directs funding or to promote and support research across the country. Mm-hmm. We work with various research-based institutions, higher education institutions, but our general aim is to work and position ourselves across the national system of innovation.
Yeah.
At this level, we work with mainly student funding. It's funding that is directed to honors, masters, and doctoral students at an institutional level for their postgraduate support. And that's where we find ourselves at this conference today, where we are sharing practices and processes, sharing information, and the direct partnership is about ensuring that we are able to transition or build a pipeline for students from an undergraduate level into postgraduate support.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Now tell me, now you've given us an idea of what the NRF is about. Tell me who qualifies to be under the custody, financially, of course, of the NRF.
So students that are registered at higher education institutions for postgraduate study are eligible for support, provided that they meet the entry requirements of a 65% and above. We prioritize students based on financial need and exceptional achievers. We also provide support at a full cost level and at a partial cost level. So those students that qualify for financial need, for MINISFA support that our provide and assist support can apply for postgraduate support under the basis of their financial need, as well as students that are exceptional achievers with the 75% and above can qualify for full cost support. All those that don't qualify within those categories qualify for our partial cost support.
Let's get into the age limitation policy that you have developed as the foundation. When I saw it and when I heard about it, I said to myself, here's another bottleneck. Here is another prerequisite that I have to jump in order for me to secure myself financial aid, within higher education and training. Kindly elaborate to us, what is this age limitation policy that the foundation has, tabled before South Africa?
So the age limitation is actually part of our postgraduate funding policy. It's a DSI NRF postgraduate funding policy. And it was a deliberate attempt to ensure transformation and target representation across the system of a younger cohort of next generation researchers that are able to enter the programs at an early age with full support and exit the program at an early age of 35 years with a doctoral qualification. And these are aligned to some of our South African targets under the NDP plan, as well as some of our South African targets that drive postgraduate support to ensure that we have X percentage of qualified PhD graduates, that we are able to be internationally competitive with other countries on some of these targets.
Talking about those targets, I do believe you have an age restriction for masters, for honors, and also for PhD. Take me through the ages of each qualification.
So at an honors level, our age limitation at entry level, so when you're applying for funding, is 28 years of age. At master's, it's 30 years of age. And at doctoral, it's 32 years of age.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think I believe you've narrowed it so much that someone now, it sort of encourages, students indirectly to quickly attain those qualifications. But someone would also say, but why is it that there is an expectation? It's tacitly saying to me, by the age of 32, I should and I must have already attained my PhD. How realistic is that?
So a lot of work has been done within the National Research Foundation to look at the actual students that we currently fund within the system, as well as students that are enrolled for postgraduate studies. And we find that the bulk of the students in terms of the range fall within those categories of support. It's a very small percentage, around less than 5%, that fall outside of those categories on either side. On either side of the range. So we find that we are directing support to the cohort that are ready and able to take up the support and to able to transition. So meaning that they are able to enter the programs and exit the programs, and ensuring good impact and throughput within postgraduate support under the policy.
It does make sense. It does, and I don't want to corner you, because I think you, as a foundation, you did go through thorough investigation and took the data and considered what exactly is that is needed within, the academia world. But without having to waste your time any further, the theme is collaborating and partnership. What would you say, as the foundation, you anticipate through collaboration and partnership with other stakeholders? Or perhaps I should say, what would you say to those stakeholders as NRF you would like to join into the party and mingle as well?
So when it comes to our partnerships and our stakeholders, we encourage both local and international partnerships. We have very strong links locally with all the South African public universities, as well as other funders and donors within the South African space. For example, we have industry partners that we partner with. We also have international partners that are funding postgraduate students in South Africa. We have those partnerships that we encourage, and under our agreements, our country agreements, that we are able to fund South African students and researchers. So we encourage partnerships, we encourage collaborations, and we make sure that our systems and our processes are adequate to be able to report and to provide some sort of auditable trace in terms of our financial management and our practices. So I think that is very a reason why people look to the NRF for support and to also manage their funding agreements.
That's something I will definitely attest to as a South African, and also as someone who has went to university and applied for, grants such as the ones that you've just, alluded to. And I have to commend the NRF. I don't think I've ever, gone through or seen an article that would speak about the embezzlement of funds within the foundation or the mismanagement of funds within the foundation. So definitely, I would say that the NRF is truly, what we would call a custodian of financial aid for the future generations of South Africa. Ladies and gents, this is Tashni, or should I say Mrs. Tashni Pillay from the National Research Foundation. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for answering all of the questions we've been having for quite some time.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to the student applications.
Yes.
And please remember that it's about creating awareness, about applying for the funding, and making sure that you have access to the support. And we at the NRF will be available to assist you as much as possible.
Ladies and gents, it is Mrs. Tashni Pillay from the National Research Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.